Welcome to the Fire Away Podcast. The podcast that is the Fire Away Podcast. Oh yeah. Here we go. Let's do it.
I'd like to welcome Fireline family back to Fire Away Podcast, where we like to fire off with anything and everything. Why are you giggling at me? My co-host Matt Williams over here is giggling like a schoolgirl.
How you doing, Fred?
I'm doing well. How's everybody out there doing today? Hopefully they're doing well too. But no, welcome back to another edition of the Fire Away Podcast, where you can find us on Apple Podcasts. You can find us on Instagram at fire_away. So, Matt, how you doing today, buddy?
Not too bad. And just a reminder, when you do get on Apple Podcasts, you got to hit that plus button up in the right-hand corner. Make sure you're following us on Apple Podcasts.
Yes, that too.
It'll also send you a reminder every time an episode's coming out. So
that's good, because we have a few people who like to reach out every week and say, hey, when's the new episode? And every week I say, well, every other Monday.
yeah, and if you follow us on Instagram, Mark's always updating that.
Yes, Mark is. Mark does a great job with that, by the way.
100%.
Our other co-host isn't here today. He had to run out. He has things going on. I don't know if he's lying or not, but either way, he won't be here. So, how you been doing? What's going on with you?
Not too bad. Staying busy.
Yeah?
Yep. Not liking this cold weather. Not one bit.
No, I'm a warm weather guy.
I'm with you.
I'd rather sweat my ass off than be cold at any given moment.
I know Mark disagrees with that 100%.
Well, there's a lot of cold weather people, but you know what? To each his own.
There's nothing fun about being cold.
Them little snow bunnies. But no, so today's guest is going to be the one, the only Mr. Fire Alarm Install Man himself, Gary Cox. He'll be coming on and having some conversations with me. We're going to talk about him, who he is, how he likes Fireline, how Fireline likes him, and get some good stuff from there.
He's had quite the journey through Fireline. Wasn't always a manager.
No. He was a technician at one point in time, I think. So,
Yep.
yeah, we're going to kind of dive in a little bit of that, too, and kind of see what makes Gary tick, inside Fireline and outside Fireline.
Yeah, it should be a really good episode.
All right, well, good.
Excited to listen.
Here we go. Here comes Gary. Mr. Gary Cox, welcome to the Fire Away Podcast, sir. How are you?
I'm doing good. And yourself?
I'm doing just fine and dandy, man. Even better now that you're in front of me.
I appreciate that, man.
Yeah. So what brings you onto the podcast here, man? What's going on with you?
So just want to congratulate y'all on this podcast. Like, this is awesome. Like, the best thing, the Fire Alarm's done. Like, the customer committee service department has been great.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate that. So I'm assuming that you are a Firefly or a listener?
I definitely listen. Yes.
Oh, man. Now, so do you have any of the pod? Have you listened to all of them by chance?
For the most part, yeah. Listen
part.
to Liz, the one with the Halloween episode that came out Monday. That was great.
Now, you were on the, we did an interview on the Mario Kart one, didn't you? You jumped on there a couple times,
jumped
right?
on that for a little bit.
That's right. You were one of the big L's.
Well, I mean, I won the first round.
You did.
I won the first. Could have had the second round, but that eggshell got me right at the end. That took me out.
Woulda, coulda.
Yeah, right. But it was fun.
We appreciate the feedback. We appreciate letting us know that we're learning as we go, obviously.
Right.
This is new to every one of us.
Right.
But I think as we've kind of, move forward with it, we're getting a little more comfortable on the mic. We sound better, making Kelly's job a whole lot easier, hopefully, because all the edits that we have to do. If we're kind of having a smooth run with it. Are you a podcast listener by chance?
I am a podcast listener.
Now, what are some podcasts you like listening to?
So it's this guy called AI. He pretty much teach like diverse savings and financial freedom. So that's like a very great podcast I listen to. Then I also listen to a fitness podcast as far as fasting.
Okay.
I do a lot of fasting. So they do a lot of stuff as far as bite-sized eating, 16-9 fasting, fat fasting. So pretty much anything financial and fitness I listen to.
Huh. So financially, that'd probably be good. As far as fasting for me goes, it's usually how fast I get to the next meal. But I'm assuming it's not something. That's not what they're teaching you, right? It's
no, not at all.
So So go into a little bit of what fasting is. So you fast.
I fast.
So
yes.
Take us through that.
So right now, I really got into it heavy after Labor Day. So I do a 16-8, which is I fast for 16 hours, and then I can eat for 8 hours. Not saying I can eat every minute of those 8 hours. It's still partial fasting. So like every 2 hours, I can eat a meal. So it's all small portions. So I'm usually eating about 4 to 5 meals a day within that 8-hour window. And that's usually here at Fireline.
You had to do it while you're awake, right? I mean, that makes no sense.
Right.
Unless
So
you got
yeah.
someone shoveling down your gullet while you're
Right,
asleep, but
right.
that could be a hazard.
Yeah. So pretty much 4 p.m. I stop eating
Okay.
and I go all the way to 8 a.m. the next morning.
That makes sense, right? So when you're sleeping, it's not as hard.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah.
It makes it so much easier. So when you wake up, because first I used to do 11 a.m. to 7 p.m.
Okay.
But then I had to make it through the whole morning at work.
Yeah, it's tough.
You know, it's a lot of meetings in the morning. Like I'm starving, but I'm trying to focus on meetings. So when I switch it to, to the 4 to 8, it's just so much easier.
So when you are eating
Mhm.
in that 8-hour window, is there still a calorie count, or is it kind of just watch what you're eating, small portion type thing? I'm sure there got to be some kind
Some
of
people
parameter to kind of keep it.
Do go real deep into how many calories they do. Me personally, I do not. I just pretty much prep all of my meals on Sunday.
I saw that.
Yeah.
You're a salmon guy.
Yes. I got a cutting board, by the way.
My
Now.
man. I'm proud of you. That's awesome. Yeah, I was a little nervous about those countertops.
Yeah. So I do all my prepping. So I'm usually between salmon, shrimp, ground turkey, chicken. That's usually and steak.
Okay.
That's usually the 5 options I take. And I take 3 of those and kind of, mix them up each week. So it's not the exact same meal every single day. I did do this program called 75 Hard. You ever heard of that?
75 hard. I sounds familiar, but
Yeah. So that
I don't know.
program, you pick a diet. So I did the fasting. You had to read it, about 10 pages of a book, work out twice a day. So the first workout's 45 minutes. It can be indoors or outdoors, but the second workout has to be outdoors. And this can be in the winter, summer, it didn't matter.
Okay.
You have to do both of those workouts in this program.
So is it all cardio based?
No, it's both.
So cardio and weightlifting.
Correct.
Okay. So usually you have weights inside, or you can take them outside
Yeah.
and do something
Mhm.
weight wise, right?
Yep.
So, what is now? I know you got a fitness background. I've discussed a lot about the Peloton. Actually, you inspired me. I went and got one.
Yes.
It does great holding up towels and clothes. Now, I use it. I do like it. It's one of my favorite things to do. I really do enjoy doing it. My wife does a lot too. But I know you we were talking the other day about this, and you said you're kind of switching gears a little bit just because you got a little bored of the bike. And I know you picked up a treadmill, Peloton treadmill too.
Yes.
So, what is this? What are you trying to accomplish with the fact? Because by all means, you're not a heavy guy at all. You know what I mean? So, what's your goals that you're trying to reach by doing it this way?
So mainly it's just eating healthy and letting it happen. Like I'm not here to lose weight, but when you start this program, it just happens. You lose the body fat and, you start bulking up. But the biggest thing is I want to actually run a marathon.
Okay.
So that's my long-term plan. So
Nice.
I did several 5Ks. I did the Baltimore Run Festival back in August. I did the 10K. So that was my first 10K. I got a 15K coming up in December.
All right.
And then I got my first marathon in February.
Very cool. So, has running been a part of your past?
Running was never a part of my past.
Okay. So
Like
is
this
something new.
time last year, you say run to the warehouse, I'm out of breath.
I got you.
Like I hated running. It was all cycling. Like before COVID, I was in LA Fitness doing cycling, 3 times a week to the point where it shut down and I couldn't. So I'm
Right.
like, all right, what am I gonna do now? And that's where Peloton
Okay.
came into place. Got the bike. Probably was on that like 5-6 times a week. A day.
Yeah, I know you and I talked about you did some pretty cool stuff on there where you were like an all day type thing, you jump on and off the bikes and
Yeah. Peloton.
had some long races and you spent some good time on that Peloton.
Yes.
Now, do you still use it? Is that still part of what you do, or
It's in the basement.
okay?
Yeah.
All right.
It's in the basement. Right now, I'm
You just
completely outside. And it's not even, I think I just got bored of riding in the house.
I understood.
But I didn't want to get a expensive road bike because you don't want to get a little $200 bike and be riding in the middle of the street and the thing break down.
Yeah.
So I just let me try running again. So that's where the running kind of came in because I wanted to be outdoors. It's nice days.
Yeah, no, for sure.
And that's kind of where the running came from.
I don't like running,
Mhm.
however, but I do feel like even off the bike, right? So I feel like when I'm done a 30-minute run, a 45-minute run, whether it's a couple miles, 3 miles, versus sitting on a bike or something, I always feel like I've got more out of that
Mhm.
run. Now, whether I did or didn't, if you do a calorie count, we all have the watches.
Right.
You have the Apple Watch too, as far as it does a really good job at counting calories and how much you burned off and what you've done. It always kind of seemed to even out, but I always felt like after a run, I just felt so much
better.
Better, right? Don't like doing them, don't like getting into them, but always felt better. So, from the bike to the running now, are you kind of finding the same thing?
Definitely. It's a much better joy, especially when I run downtown. Like I will park at McHenry Rail and I will run. So that's about 7-8 miles, depends on which route you take. And it really challenged you because now I got to run back to my car. Like it's nobody to pick me up or it's, across the water. You got to run that same route back. So I'm going to get the 13, 14 miles to get back to my car when I take that long run. So like the accomplishment of running that long and then looking back at your phone and looking at the app and actually seeing the route you just took.
Sure.
Like it's no better feeling.
So that makes sense, right? So you're setting yourself up for success, setting yourself up for a challenge. So, going into it, that's the way to challenge myself. If I pick a spot to run to, I got to get back.
Correct.
And if you don't do it that way, it's kind of easy to start cheating and taking another route. So the running itself, are you enjoying it? Are you liking it? Are you liking it?
Love it.
So what inspired you to start running?
I honestly don't know. I just started running. It's kind of an accomplishment when you only can run a mile, and then the next run you run 2 miles.
Yeah.
And then the next run 3 miles, and then like it keeps building. It's like, I remember this spot. I used to stop right here because my shins hurt, but now I'm still running. So
what have you found now? So the further you go, what are the challenges that you're facing within your body as you go further? Do you find it more of a physical thing or more of a mental thing?
It's more mental. My body can handle it. And usually when I get that tired feeling, I got to just say to myself, like, we did this already. Right. Like, why are we stopping at 2 miles? Like, we had done 14 miles before.
Giving yourself a little pep talk.
Correct.
Yeah, you have to, right?
Right.
So, you know who David Goggins is, right?
Mm.
You never know who David Goggins is?
If you explain, I probably know.
Yeah, so David Goggins, he was a Navy SEAL. He was an Army Ranger. The only guy to ever do both. He went through Hell Week 3 different times. The first 2 times he didn't make it through because of injury. Third time he made it through. He is a fitness guru. He's a runner. He's an ultra marathoner. He's an inspirational speaker. You got to look him up.
Yeah, sure
I think you would. I tell you what, I'm surprised you haven't heard of him.
Yeah.
But I challenge you now to look up David Goggins. I guarantee you when I see you tomorrow or the next time you see it, you'll say, yeah, that guy is absolutely amazing.
Gotcha.
And he's an inspiration. But what he says about mentally over physically, the reason I was asking, I thought maybe you had heard that, which is, when you're getting to that point where you feel like you're ready to quit, right? At that point in time, you're only 40% into what your body can do, right? Like you've got that much more to give. You just have to push yourself into it. And it's a mental game. If you can be mentally tough, you can pretty much do anything you want. So that's what it sounds like you're doing. It sounds like you're battling yourself, and the body's in great shape, and it's just making up your mind that I'm going to be able to do what I need to do.
Right.
That's awesome.
And dropping 19 pounds since Labor Day,
Is that
definitely helps. Yeah, I lost 19 pounds.
Getting all nice and cut up. Wife, you like it?
Like, you're skinny. I'm like, I know, but I can run faster.
Hey, but you gotta set your body up for what you want to do. Right. So then being able to run a marathon you got to have the right body type and the right less weight. Got get a pool for 26.2 miles. Right. That what it is? 26.2 miles.
On one.
One. Okay. That's close.
Yeah. Don't give me 0.1 more.
So coming into Fireline, what have you always been a fitness guy? So when did you start here at Fireline?
So I started here in 2007.
2007. Okay. All right. So was that 14, 15, 16 years?
16. Yeah. Going on 17.
So what did you when you first started here? What did you do?
I was pretty much a helper for a programmer, in the fire alarm department.
Now, was that did you already have some experience? Were you like brand new?
Brand new.
Here I am.
Green to fire alarm. I did do security work, like access control, cameras, just pretty much pulling wire. So I did have that, install background, but I didn't have any fire alarm background when I got here.
So what made you think of Fireline? What made you come to Fireline?
So I was working with a guy that was actually a contractor for Stanley Security.
Okay.
And he was actually moving to Atlanta. And at this time, I'm 18. I was like, I don't want to move to Atlanta.
Yeah.
Kind of what you did. But no. So just so happened, we was doing a project at Coppin State. And also Fireline was doing a project at Coppin State.
Okay.
Seeing the truck, seeing the guys. I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. Then my manager was like, hey, wait, I know that guy. That guy's Fons Dyson. Like, we used to work together at Cranston, a long, long time ago. So they pretty much made the connection. Was like, hey, great guy. I'm leaving. I'm going to Atlanta. He needs a job. And that's when Fawn brought me in the fire line, and I interviewed with Norm Mason. That same day they gave me a call back and gave me a start date.
So you are a true success story of Fireline. Coming in
Yes.
from ground one to
Ground
now
one.
you are, please tell us what you're doing now.
I am the fire line manager of systems.
Of systems.
Of systems.
Of systems. And
Yep.
you got that job, what, 2 years ago?
Yeah, about 2.5 years ago.
Right. So coming through Fireline, start to work your way up. How did you make your way?
I just kept advancing. Like, I didn't ask pretty much to put the position I'm at. I never asked for it. I never inquired about it. It was always people telling me, like, you're going to do great things. You're going to go far in the company, stuff like that. So I believed it. Just kept doing my day to day, learn as much as I could, and just, try to be one of those leaders in the field.
It's paid off for you. You're doing
It
a good
did.
job. So
Appreciate it.
we spent some time together doing something. We did that leadership training
Mhm.
class, which was fantastic. We see each other in the hallway, worked a couple of things. So, all I can say is good things about you as well.
Yeah.
You are a stand-up guy, and I appreciate everything you do.
Appreciate it.
So getting into it and being a fire alarm manager now, the installation side, what are some of the things you do? What's your day-to-day look like?
It's a lot of meetings.
Yeah.
Whole lot of meetings, whole lot of thinking ahead, things that we can do to improve the department, improve fire line, just making sure everything is running smooth. And right now, like, the team I have is just awesome. Like, it pretty much runs itself, but I'm still there. And like I said, it's always looking for that next best thing for Fireline.
Sure. And it helps when you have a good team, right?
Correct.
A good team kind of makes everything a lot smoother.
Yeah, they allow you to do other things so you can, focus on the new stuff.
For sure. So, then what about, coming in, we're kind of jumping around a little bit, but
Yep.
it's all good. It's a conversation. Young Gary, and we're going to kind of circle back around to when fitness kind of started.
Mhm.
It's always been a part of you, but where'd you grow up? What are some things you like to do when you were a kid?
So, born in Baltimore City, right off of Bel Air, Edmondson area. Pretty much there my whole entire life till I moved out. Just, the ordinary kid. Didn't really get into trouble. Was, great in school. Had a couple of friends, we always hung out. We done a lot of cool things. And actually, now you got me thinking that I rode my bike a lot as a kid. Like, come home from school, it was my mountain bike. I think I had a 18 speed or 21 speed. Yeah, 21 speed mountain bike. And I would stay out, until it gets dark and come in the house.
Street lights.
I pushed it.
Didn't we all?
Yeah, I pushed the street lights, but yeah.
It's funny. I rode my bike all the time too. I lived in a small town. It was about 1.5 miles square. It was tiny. But anywhere you want to get anywhere, you ride your bike anywhere. So I did a lot of bike riding too. So, but growing up as a kid on Edmondson and Bel Air, riding your bike a lot. Did you play any sports?
Did not play any sports.
No?
Still cannot play any sports.
No, not a sports guy?
No.
Now, were you into fitness back then at all? Did you work out? Did you run? I mean, I know you said you biked a lot, but that was a necessity and just kind of getting around.
Yeah, it was
not too much a sport of it.
No, yeah, it was all recreational.
So when did you get into fitness?
Fitness was probably in probably about my 20s.
Okay.
When I met my wife, she was kind of in the fitness phase, the weight loss phase, and we used to go to Planet Fitness together. So that was kind of like some of our dates. Like, we actually went to Planet Fitness every Saturday. Then we went to Dairy Queen, got a burger. But yeah, I feel like fitness really took off then, and it continued. Like, we went from Planet Fitness, we went to Brick Body. Now we're at LA Fitness.
Okay. Now, does she work out as much as you do?
Not as much now.
Not as much.
Yeah, she wants to get back in.
Crazy with it,
she wants to get back into it, but it's a process. I don't force anything. I don't push anything. So, but yeah.
So, are you any kids?
So I had one in a previous marriage.
Okay.
We had one together, and she has a son. So nice blended family.
Sure.
Been married now for. She's going to definitely listen to this. Hold up. 9 years. There we go.
9 years.
9 years.
9
yeah.
years.
So 1 year before my daughter, we had together. Well, after. So she's 8.
So how's that dynamic blend together as far as obviously You have one together. She had one. You have one, kind of mixing them into
Mhm.
it. So how's that been making everybody kind of be cohesive?
So the people that know me very well will say you have the most perfect blended family. Like we go on vacation with the other parents as
wow.
well. Like we will all go down to Universal, Florida. They're with us,
Okay.
so dynamic is just something that we want to explain. Like we're actually talking about doing a podcast for that because it just worked out so easy.
That's not easy to do.
Agreed.
It's very hard. So I have a wife who had 2 sons when we got together. We have a daughter together, and I've done a lot of hard things in my life, and that's probably, if not the hardest, one of the hardest things is trying to blend a family together. You know what I mean? It's not even as much of a dynamic as yours is. Our mine isn't, right? I mean, you have one together. She has one, making it all work. So, being able to do that is fantastic. Now, you guys going on vacation together with the other families, that's awesome. So I'm assuming you guys get along, number one. But number two, that is such a positive for them children to see that.
Yes.
Even though you may face some adversity or maybe people don't get along, it didn't get along. Doesn't mean that you can't work together and can't get along moving forward and just a happy outcome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
How have you been able to do that?
Honestly, it just kind of happened. Like we didn't force it. Like when we both left our previous relationships, we left on good terms. Like me and my ex-wife, I still call her today. If she needs anything, I'm there. It's never any like confrontation with her at all. It was just kind of like a mutual agreement. Like, we work better as co-parents than together. And that was the same thing with my wife and her. They wasn't married, but so I won't say baby father, but son's father. So yeah, it's just a weird blend and just, birthdays, they're all, co-ed. I mean, together.
Right.
Like we don't do separate birthday parties. We do obviously split the holidays because, we're busy. We got big families.
Understood.
So they may go down for 1 year to the father or, my ex-wife. But for the most part, everything's.
So what are the ages of the children?
So the oldest is 15. That's my wife's son. Did I say 15? 16. Mine's is 15. I know. Mine's is 15 and the youngest is 8.
Okay. Very nice.
We have a gap.
Yeah, you got a gap there.
Gap.
But I'm sure the 8-year-old love to torment the older ones.
She runs the house. Yeah,
of course she does.
She runs the house.
Of course she does. Yeah, I mean, I can see just kind of knowing you, the little bit that I do know you, and your pretty chill demeanor. I'm assuming. I mean, most people kind of pick up on genuineness of people, and you seem to be a pretty genuine person. So, I mean, talking to you about it and hearing that, it doesn't surprise me that you're able to do that just by me knowing who you are.
Right.
So, I mean, I congratulate on that because that's an awesome thing. I wish a lot of people, and I think a lot of people wishes they could, be able to do what you've done.
You got to take the emotions out of it.
It's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's never the children's fault.
Never.
I mean, the children are the children. They're just the byproduct of all of it, right? If the adults can get together, the adults can be cohesive, like you said,
right?
Then it just makes things a whole lot smoother for the children at the end of the day, and for you guys as well,
right?
So I commend you on doing that. That's a job well done. Good job on that one.
Appreciate that.
So, but coming back around to coming with Fireline, you started your fitness. We kind of talked about a bunch of different things. What about Fireline do you like the most? Why do you feel like this is home?
I mean, honestly, it starts from the top, from Steve Waters to Anna Gavin. Like, it's just the family ordinate company. I feel like I belong here. Like, I don't have to kind of, in a way, do anything extra to make it feel like that I'm important to Fireline. Like, it's just the family ordinate company is just awesome.
So you were here when Steve was still?
Yes.
Okay.
Not much. He was here, but I wasn't in the office. But, I still seen him walking around the building. So I never had the actual relationship like I have with Anna. But yes, I was here with Steve.
So you've seen her take over and run things the way she runs things. How do you think that's been?
Oh, it's been perfect. Flawless. Like, you really couldn't tell a difference when it happened. Like, she took the company by storm. It was great.
That's awesome. So, Fireline here, 16 years, we said?
Yep.
What, 16 years?
16.
And 16 more, right? I mean, as long as you can go.
As long as I can go. Yeah, I want to have the top numbers. I think we got, 45?
Yeah. Matter of fact, Miss Cindy just called me now while I was talking to you. But yeah, when you see those numbers ranging anywhere from, like I said, 45 to 7, 8, you know what I mean? It's just a testament to the kind of company we work at.
Exactly.
So, background coming in, you had very little. Worked. What's been your favorite part of Fireline, or your favorite job that you've done since you've been here?
I'll say what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
Because I'm intertwined with so many different down departments. Service, like I'm getting to learn service a lot. I'm doing more sprinkler. I'm doing more suppression. So I'm not just doing fire alarms. So it's actually opening up everything that Fireline has to offer. So it's actually been great learning all of that. And also, if they need help, I'm that person where somebody can give me like an idea and I'm going to make it a reality. So that's been, honestly, I like where I'm at now because it gets me to focus on everything of Fireline, not just one department.
So would you say your drive to challenge yourself physically, did that
definitely
translate over into your professional life as well?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So, I mean, always trying to be better at what you do. So along the way now, over your 16 years here, who are some of the people that you can kind of look back on and say they were good stepping stones along the way, people who really kind of helped push you and mold where you are now?
Definitely Rich. Like, Rich has been in my corner since day one. I want to say, if it wasn't Rich, it was either Wayne Bennett, but they was my trainers when I first got in here. So I ran with Rich. We did a couple jobs in Pasadena, Big Vanilla. Remember that one very well. Like, I learned so much in a shorter time. You know, he's obviously dealing with the electricians. I'm watching. But, Fawn, like, took me under his wings. Like, obviously the one brought me into Fireline. So he took me under his wings. A couple of the guys, not here anymore. Like Daryl was here, learned a lot from Daryl. So, I mean, almost everybody in definitely the fire alarm install team, Chris, Kenny, like, I just learned so much from all of them. That's
good. So it's been a good collaboration with folk, kind of help you along the way and help keep challenging, learning what we've got to offer here. So, I mean, all in all, I'd have to say your Fireline experience has been great.
Yeah. Yeah. Never had a major issue.
But no, we do appreciate, again, back to talking about, listening to the podcast and all that. Hopefully we're going to continue to push more out. We got a great crew here. Kelly and Mike do a great job as far as Matt Williams and Mark. We all work hard at it. So if you had to say, what's your favorite thing about fitness? What's your favorite thing to do over the years too?
So right now, I mean, obviously I have the running, but I really like strength. Like, especially legs. Like, obviously that helps for running. So that's really what I focus on the most, but not also, we're not doing the rest of the body, the upper body, your abs and, stuff like that. But leg workouts really what I actually look forward to.
The legs, huh?
And that's what most people try to, in a way, run away from.
Yeah, yeah.
But I understand what it would do. You got strength in your legs, that's running.
Sure.
Next is core. Like, your upper body, yes, it's there, but it's really not helping you run. So I'm really focused on core and legs.
Well, we really have enjoyed having you on the podcast. We want you to continue to please keep listening.
Always.
It's always fun to bring in different people. We've got some other guests coming up soon. One of the gentlemen works a technician from System Service coming in here too, down the road. So we'll be able to start talking to some technicians. And we always like to get feedback. So if anybody that you think, and your group of people you deal with who you think would be good and exciting and have some cool stuff. Cause I mean, a lot of people have a lot of cool stuff to talk about.
Right.
By all means, let me send them our way.
Definitely.
Now we do have a question that we like to ask everybody before they end the show. What would Gary Cox today tell Gary Cox 16 years ago coming in? What advice would you give him?
So pretty much kind of how I summed up most of how I was, I built from Fireline. Like, take in everything. Don't limit yourself because you never know what that knowledge you learn can take you.
I like it. That's great advice. Gary, again, thank you very much for coming on Fireway Podcast.
Thank you.
We're here ready to fire away with anything and everything Fireline. And we'll talk to you again.
All right.
Thanks,
see you around. Appreciate it.
Welcome to the Fire Away Podcast.